So, first of all, let me just say, if y'all hear, like, what it's gonna sound probably like static to y'all in the background, it's raining hard as a bitch as I'm on my way to deliver my load and shit. So it's raining, so if you hear that sound in the background, that's what that is. I wanted to come in here and talk about y'all's boy, Colin Kaepernick. Now, if you saw, or if you follow me on Instagram, like you're supposed to be, links in the description box, I bullshit. Then I shared a post a few days back about Colin Kaepernick going to work out to get on the NFL team, essentially. I mean, this is what's going on here. He was set to work out in Atlanta at the Atlanta Falcons facility for some NFL teams. He's trying to get on, had all that shit set up. What Colin turns around and does is at the last minute, he switches the venue to I think it was a high school football field where he worked out for a couple teams through to some, receivers or whatever, some of his own select peoples. And he live streamed it on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't want the media hype to be there. According to what I've seen, the NFL wanted him to sign some type of liability or some type of contract that he wasn't really down with. And he wasn't down with the media, mainstream media, being all in his shit. Since then, people have been critical of Colin. Now, y'all know I don't fuck with Colin Kaepernick. I never did. That was y'all, y'all kind of championed him for what he was doing. Y'all disrespectfully have been comparing this man to Muhammad Ali. I've seen people put pictures of him up to Malcolm X. It's quite fucking disgusting, if you ask me. Because the way I look at it, especially when we're dealing with two vocal people like Muhammad Ali was and Malcolm X was, Colin Kaepernick isn't that vocal. He doesn't stand firmly against white supremacy or institutional racism. This man got him a Nike deal. You can't stand firmly against racism all while signing deals with white corporations. I can't rectify that in my mind personally. And even after he wasn't on any team at all, because I think they said this the first time he done spoke in about 3 years. Him doing an interview after his workout, you just, to me, if they're firing you, you can't go 3 years without saying some shit too fucked up out here. You can't go 3 years without banging on this system. To me, he should have been very vocal. That was really what he was about, but I never thought that's what he was about. Because if his claim to fame is that he's protesting quietly in the NFL because he had to protest quietly by taking the knee, because that was what they so-called required against police brutality and police injustice, all the while, since then, black people have still being murdered unjustly by police officers. How are you quiet about this stuff? Why are you not on your social platforms making videos, putting the word out, showing your disdain, showing your disgust with the system on a pretty much regular basis? I can't rectify that, but that's not my boy, so I don't have to really rectify that. That's y'all's boy, so y'all got to rectify that, in whatever way that you're going to choose to do so. Now, in his move to do so, he's brought on the fury of, a lot of people. Him, setting that shit up, getting the anticipation up for this shit, and just shaking the motherfuckers like that. One in particular, who I cannot stand, is Stephen A. motherfucking Smith. I can't stand this motherfucker. I can't stand him. I don't see how y'all have allowed Stephen A. Smith to get away with his high level of cooning that he's been able to get away with on ESPN for years. Y'all don't hold that motherfucker accountable for shit. And he don't even hold himself accountable. The only time I ever seen him apologize for misstepping was when he said something he did fucked up towards some white bitch. He got on there and apologized for that. And like a week and a half or maybe 2 weeks ago, I saw that Stephen A. Smith has become the highest paid ESPN analyst. And when I saw that article, I kind of breezed over it. I didn't really think much of it. I said, well, he's a coon, so, you know, they get their rewards for being coons. For being a black coon, you're going to get your rewards by being used. But then when I look at Stephen A. Smith and what he does, and how he stands against black people standing up against injustice and all this shit, he's always against that. He always finds a way to, you know, blame black people for what they're going through, ignore racism. You know, he got that vibe going on with him at all times. You've never heard Stephen A. Smith stand up and be very vocal, because he does have a voice, against institutional racism. You just don't see it. You do not see him using his platform, his following. I'm not saying go in ESPN and broadcast it. Motherfucker, black folk walk around with cell phones in their hand all day. You can post that on your social media because you have that platform. Now, if you're scared, you're not going to be the highest paid motherfucker or whatever like that. You're getting your rewards from white supremacy. I understand why you can't do that, but Stephen A. Smith is fucking disgusting. And him and Ed Reed, who also took the knee with Colin Kaepernick, but he actually plays in the NFL. He talked about Colin Kaepernick wanting to control the narrative because Stephen A. Smith was banging on Colin Kaepernick. He says that the NFL ain't gonna have. They kind of spoke as if he was the NFL, as if he was the voice for the NFL. Stephen A. kind of talked like that towards Kaepernick, and then Reed came to Kaepernick's defense. They've been roadies since that whole shit jumped off. They've been, you know, injustice roadies. You know what I'm saying? And Ed Reed kind of banged, and then Stephen A. Smith banged back on him. You know, whole little fiasco. And what Stephen A. Smith did that was completely disrespectful is that he evoked the name of Malcolm X. Now, Stephen A. Smith don't talk about Malcolm X, y'all. You can check. I mean, I don't watch ESPN, but I've never seen any headline, any thing that he's ever said where he's evoking the name of Malcolm X in an effort to explain racism, in an effort to speak to black people as to how they should stand against racism. And you don't see Stephen A. Smith doing that. But he evoked the name of Malcolm X against Ed Reed, and basically saying, well, Malcolm X at some point had a change in his ideologies. He's speaking of the post-pilgrimage Malcolm X. And we know if you follow Malcolm X, if you revere Malcolm X, then you understand the transition that he was going through. And I think that if he would have been able to stay alive long enough, if he wouldn't have been fucking murdered by the government and allowed to be murdered by the goddamn bullshit ass, bitch ass Nation of Islam, then he would have went through several more transitions in his growth. But he evoked the name of Malcolm X to say that, well, Malcolm X even was changing. Malcolm X never changed against his stance against white supremacy in America, not once. And I hate when people try to say that like he did at some point. He didn't. All he said was that when he did his pilgrimage, he saw white folk worshiping in his same religion. Now, I think if he'd have grown long enough, he'd have got out of that religion. Possibly, you know, you can only hope, of course, you know, you never know, but possibly get away from that veil of that slave-ass religion, because Islam is such. But he never said, well, that means I changed my mind about defending myself. That means that all of a sudden America isn't racist. It's not built on racism. It's not built on institutional racism. And black folk are continuing to still be treated like shit. He never said those things. So Stephen A. Smith evoked his name in an effort to kind of tell Eric Reed, well, calm down. Even Malcolm changed his viewpoint. That's what he had to say about Ed as they talking about Kaepernick. Now, he's gotten the fury of other people. Even Jay-Z came out and said he was disappointed in Colin Kaepernick's move. He felt like he wanted it to become a media spectacle or something to that effect. A lot of people were saying Jay-Z was responsible for Colin Kaepernick even getting the opportunity to do the workout, which I don't believe. Y'all just like to try to justify Jay-Z working with the NFL any way y'all can. So anything that happens that's even remotely close to being decent, y'all gonna say, oh, yeah, that's Jay-Z did that. Jay-Z, most definitely had his hands on that to kind of alleviate Jay-Z from his coon-ass ideologies, his coon-ass behaviors, and this whole seat at the table mentality that Negroes happen to have here in America. We don't want to build our own table. We want to sit at theirs. It reminds me of when we were going through the so-called, what people would call one of the biggest advances for black people was the desegregation, forcing our way at their tables. And we thought that was winning. Now we see that shit didn't make a goddamn difference. Well, some of us do, I guess I'll say. A handful, hell, to be honest. But this is, they say that about Jay-Z to kind of, pardon him. Oh, y'all, look, I told y'all Jay-Z was, the spook who sat by the motherfucking door. Yeah. Y'all still doing that shit with Jay-Z. Giving him credit for shit. When y'all don't even fucking know. Jay-Z never said he set anything up. He never came out and admitted to that. What he did come out and do is said that he was ashamed of Colin Kaepernick and the move that he pulled, doing a swerve move on them good white folk. He was disappointed by him doing that. Now, I don't know if Colin Kaepernick really wants to play. I know he says he wants to play. He's been ready to play for 3 years. There are a lot of people who believe he can't play. I don't have an opinion about whether he can or can't play. But I do know some sorry-ass fucking quarterbacks. Even when I was watching football, there's always sorry-ass quarterbacks out here. So I can't imagine that's changed immensely since I haven't been watching. I'm sure there's some sorry-ass quarterbacks. And to say that this man can't even be a backup quarterback for some team is, that's ridiculous to me, in my opinion. But the fact that he even wants to go in that motherfucking play is very interesting to me personally. But this is an ongoing saga. It's an ongoing thing. So we'll see how this unfolds. Fuck Stephen A. Smith. In closing, fuck Stephen A. Smith. I have no idea why people still fuck with this dude and allow him to come out here and be this type of coon in front of everybody, and then have so many black people agree with his level of cooning at all times, his sellout behaviors. Y'all pardon him so fucking much. I can't stand that motherfucker. I think he's a goddamn coon-ass, dumb motherfucker, if you ask me. He could be using his platform for something greater than what he's using it for, which is to ignore racism and come down on people who don't follow the status quo, who don't quote-unquote follow the rules. That's his angle. That's what he wants to do. But y'all respect that, so I can't, I don't fuck with it. I don't fuck with Colin Kaepernick. I've told y'all this before. He's not my hero. He's not my revolutionary. He's not, anything to me in that way. But we will see how this thing pans out, how it goes, if he actually gets to play, if he goes to a team. I'm sure that'll be the next talk of the motherfucking town. People will be saying Jay-Z is responsible for that too. I don't fuck with Jay-Z either. I just don't fuck with, y'all know how I am. I know y'all be mad at me too. Like, Rob, you don't fuck with nothing. I don't. Nobody's giving me reason to, therefore, y'all cannot hold me accountable for not fucking with people and like they give me a reason to. When their actions and their behaviors and the things that they do that are against, liberation, when they don't keep their feet on the neck of this society, of this system, then I can't fuck with them. I just can't. And I'm not going to. So, y'all gonna be mad at me about that forever. But y'all let me know what the fuck y'all think about this whole thing. If you caught wind of it, let me know what y'all thinking about this, how y'all think it may go. Y'all leave the comments in the comment section. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I'm putting videos out. Follow me on social media, links in the description box. Donate, links in the description box via Patreon. Order a t-shirt from a brother. Mad love, shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. I'm out.